Hello and welcome to this masterclass on food photography. My name is Koray and my Instagram profile is Shot by Koray. What is my page about? Well, it's a page that showcases my food photography. In this masterclass, I'm going to cover things like lighting, editing, composition, and a whole lot more. So let's not delay, let's get started. So we're going to be looking at the equipment that you will need when you are doing some food photography. Now myself, I started off with a smartphone, and the great thing about these smartphones is that they come with, well, pretty much the latest tech in terms of mobile photography. So they actually do take amazing photos for the size that they are. And you can actually do a lot of your food photography at quite a high level with a smartphone in today's age. It's very, very convenient because of its size, and most of us have probably all of us have a smartphone available. So you don't really need to get anything extra. The smartphone that you have or one that you might be investing in can actually work very, very well. And it is very, very convenient to have. But of course, something like a camera is obviously going to upgrade your photography by a lot. It will be able to provide you with the highest level of photography because you have lenses that you're able to change. And each lens that you use will provide you with a different advantage to the photography that you're doing. Now, there are usually two types of lenses that you can go for. One type is called a prime lens, which will be a lens with a fixed focal length. These offer a wider aperture, so that means you're able to take in more light into your camera, and it will provide you with a better depth of field. So if you're looking for that blurry background when you're taking a shot, so if you have a subject in front of you, the background will be blurred. It'll have a nice stronger blur with a lens that has a wider aperture. Now, the lens of choice that I go for, or the one that I'm using most, is a zoom lens. Now, with a zoom lens, it's a lot more versatile because what you're able to do with a zoom lens, as the name suggests, is you're able to zoom closer to your subject or actually zoom out further away. So depending on where your subject is and how you want to shoot your photo, you're able to change the focal length of the lens itself. With this comes a little bit of a payoff, and the payoff is that zoom lenses will usually be a lot larger and a lot heavier, and you don't get the depth of field that you would with a prime lens because the apertures will be a little bit more narrower on a typical zoom lens. Not all, but on most. So that is why I prefer the zoom lens that I'm using, because it fits my style. Now, for you guys out there, it might be that your style of photography, a prime lens might work better. So by all means, that would be the lens that you should go for. Now, aside from something to take a photo with, you're also going to need a light. Now, this could be in the form of an LED panel, which would be a fixed form of light that's just continuously shining onto your subject, and you will adjust that according to the amount of light that you want on your subject. Or you can go for something that I have, which will be a flashlight. Now, with a flashlight, as the name suggests, it will flash a beam of light at whichever strength that you choose onto the subject that you're trying to shoot at. Now, the great thing about the flashlights is that it can actually sync with your camera. So you can attach it as so. There we go, I just had it. And what this does is it syncs with the camera settings that you will have on the camera, and it will, if you're setting in auto mode, it will adjust to shoot the right amount of light at the right speed at the subject that you're focusing on. Or you can set it to manual, and it will you can actually adjust the light how you want it. You might want it a little bit stronger, or you might want it a little bit lighter. You might want it at a slower speed, and you're able to play around with that in the manual mode. So with these flashlights, you can have it attached to your camera as so, which is the usual typical way of doing it, or you can actually have it attached wirelessly. And with that, you're going to need an extra piece of equipment, which is known as a wireless trigger. Now, this wireless trigger actually attaches to the camera so that it actually allows you to sync with the flash itself. So in essence, it's transmitting information from here to the wireless flash itself in order to be able to sync it together. And again, you can use it in auto mode to allow the flash to do as it is with the camera, or you can set it onto manual mode and you can adjust the light yourself, whichever way is preferred for you. The next thing that you're definitely going to need when you are using a camera is the very obvious one, which is a memory card. Now, the memory card that you choose will depend on your needs. The first thing it will depend on is the size. Of course, you would like to have a larger size. A larger size means you can take more content and store more content onto your memory card. But the other thing that you need to look out for is the speed of the memory card itself. The faster the speed, the more photos your camera can hold in its buffer. So if you're going for high-speed photography, then the higher the speed, the easier it's going to be for you to actually do high-speed photography. If your memory card isn't fast enough, then your camera's buffer may not be able to hold enough photos in its memory in order to be able to take the high-speed photography that you want. So you do essentially want to be able to get a memory card that is large enough for your needs as well as fast enough for your needs as well. But it all depends on budget and what you need as well. But you definitely will need a memory card with your camera in order to be able to use it. So, aside from those things, the other things that... So aside from the things that I've just mentioned now, the other things that you may need is a tripod. And the tripods come in various different sizes. So from a very, very small size, practically a handheld tripod. This will be used on tabletops to attach your camera to, and it will just simply stand it in a very simple and low way. You can also have a much larger tripod, depending on your needs, where you will be able to extend each part to get it higher. There's even bigger ones than these. Depending on your needs, you could go for the size of tripod that you want. Now, why would you want a tripod? Because it gives you better stabilization. When you are taking certain type of photography, you will want your camera to be as stable as possible in order to capture the image that you want as clearly and in as much detail as you can. So a tripod will be needed if you require that stabilization. It may not be needed in every case, particularly with food photography in a restaurant, but it is useful to have it if you are ever going to need it. So, other things that you might need. You may need a strap for your camera. Now, this is a matter of preference because you can have your camera strapped around you as so, which can be useful if you are moving around quite frequently with your camera. Just put this down. So it will hang around your neck and you will be able to just have it around there. And it's obviously stopping it from dropping, but it's also convenient if you're moving around. Now, I do sometimes like to use the strap around with me, but at other times I like to just have it off and have it freehand. It really depends on the style of shooting that I'm going for, but most of the time I like to be able to be free when I'm using my camera so I can move around with it very easily. You may, if you'd like, also invest in a diffuser or reflector, which I'm about to show you. So with this, we have a couple of features with it. So this is the reflector side. What this does is it will beam the light that you're getting from, it could be from a window or it could be from your flash, or it could be from lights above, or wherever the light source may be from. It will reflect from here onto a darker side of the subject that you may want to brighten up. It's useful when a particular side of your subject is very dark and you may want to brighten it up, but it can also be used to give your photos an artistic effect, especially if you're going for something bright or something moody. You may want to lighten a particular side of that subject, so it's good for artistic effect as well. Now, that would be the reflector, but the one that I use most will definitely be the diffuser. Now, the diffuser actually softens the light. As the light goes through the diffuser, it sort of breaks the light particles down to give a softer light onto the subjects that you are shooting. This is useful, especially in very bright conditions, particularly with sunlight, so that your image doesn't have too much of a harsh light on there. It's great to soften that light up so that when you're shooting, you get the perfect photo that you need. Now, in terms of other props, particularly with food photography, these are props that you may find around where you are shooting. So if you are in a restaurant, for example, you may want to include a menu in your shot just to show which restaurant that you are from, or just to add a bit of artistic flair into your shots. You may have some flowers available in order to give it sort of a floral, a more prettier aesthetic when you are shooting, or any other ornaments that you may have around when you are shooting. It can be very useful, and it can actually make your photography look that much more better. So, equipment. It's really important that you get the right kit for the job. Invest well and you will get payback.